6.
What club was that at?
That was.
Admit that a lot of people don't even realize they.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
But the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again, 31.
Okay, so now we're going to show you, because you said today you had to work and you were getting ready to go buy something, right? So one way of showing yourself to be a man, right, says Exodus 20:8, because we want to show you now a law that we must keep. By you applying these laws, not only is it showing yourself how to be a man and fixing to get that masculine spirit, but it also showing the woman and the children that example that we men now rising up to fix our community. And they're going to want to do what? Follow suit. Right? Says, read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
Because God said we have to remember the Sabbath day. Why? Because once they took that yoke of iron upon their neck, they said, you know what? Now they destroyed, they're going to forget that. They're going to think, what day should we worship?
Sunday.
Sunday. They're going to think Sunday is the day we're supposed to worship. And that's that knowledge that we were destroyed for. But God said, you know what? I'm about to send prophets now to teach my people this understanding that you must remember the Sabbath day. That the Sabbath day is what? The seventh day of the week. Because Sunday is the what? The first day of the week. So now you understand that, right? Watch this, read.
To keep it holy.
To keep it separate. It's a different day than every other day of the week. He said, you know what? This day is going to be holy and separate unto you. Why? Because we're holy and separate unto God. Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So God says we got 6 days to do whatever we want to do. We get all that overtime. We can work, do all of that in 6 days. That's fair, right? That's more than fair. Right? Read on.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
So he said, one day out the week, I'm asking you men, I'm asking my people to take that day off. Do not work. I'm giving you 6 days to do whatever you want to do. To work, get all that overtime. But on the seventh day, the Sabbath, don't work on that day. Don't work on that day. That day is between me and you. Right? So now we're going to find, now we realize you cannot work on that day, right? So now we're going to find out what else you should be doing. Nehemiah 10:31. Because now we're in this plaza right here, right? So you ain't just walking.
Yeah, also that's why they fronted on Jesus, because he was working on his side. So I think that's it. I'm not sure on
Matthew 12. He wasn't working on the Sabbath. They were trying to get him for trying to heal on the Sabbath.
Exactly.
And then he brought up the example as if you had like one of your beat. Well, we'll get it, 'cause I don't want to butcher it up. But watch this. Read that real quick.
Nehemiah chapter 10 and verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or victuals on the Sabbath day.
So if people of the land, so the other nations or even our own people, right? They have businesses set up. This whole plaza, right, needs to be set down. They try to give you what? Businesses, food, clothing, chains, shoes, whatever. We're not supposed to be doing what?
To sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath day.
That we're not going to buy today. Right. Because today they do what? They like to give all the sales. They have to give all the 50% off, 75% off, give all the deals. But why can't they do that during the 6 days of a week when we're able to buy and sell, when we're able to work? They don't do that. And they always say, you know what? If you want overtime, I give it to you today on a Saturday. But you got Sunday, you got Monday, Tuesday. You can pick all those days. But they want to choose the day we're required not to work, not to buy ourselves, to pick that day to do what? To make us break God's law so that we could continue being at the bottom of society and they could stay at top and ruling over us. Read? No.
Oh.
So now, right, we want to go into Matthew 12, right? Go to Matthew 12 real quick because I want to touch on what you just said right there. Yeah, we're going to touch on that, Matthew 12.
And then I got
All right.
let's touch on that.
Right. So we're going to go over that, right? We're going to read that. Okay.
That's what we get broader understanding.
Yes, sir. Read that. You got it? So we're going over to the Sabbath, right? So Christ, what was he doing? Because remember, in verse 1, they were trying to get on him for there, and they were trying to do what? Try to trick him.
Right.
Remember, they were trying to trick him and catch him in the act. Because he knew. So he said, you know, you want to play semantics with me, I can play semantics with you, right?
Exactly.
So watch this. You got that?
Verse 10.
Ah.
And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day?
So it's just like, if someone gets shot down and you get shot right now, and he bleeding, are you going to get someone to stop the bleeding? Are you just going to leave him there to die? So they playing semantics. Saying, hey, are you going to heal him on a Sabbath day?
Yeah.
Are you going to heal him? Like if someone was sick, they got a heart attack, you're going to do what? You want to bring them to what? The hospital, right? Read on.
That they may accuse him.
Because they're trying to accuse him. They're trying to catch him in the midst of sin. Right? Read.
And he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it?
So now, if you have a sheep, but in today's time, right, say you got a dog, right, and the dog feels sick, you're going to do what? Are you going to take it to the vet?
Right, yeah.
Are you going to take it to the vet, right?
Right.
Charged to what? To have them get a checkup on it. That's the same thing what Christ said. Are you just going to leave your sheep there to die? Are you going to let someone get shot and not try to help them out?
Right.
That's what Christ said, because they were trying to accuse him of trying to break the law.
Break the law.
Watch this, read.
Will he not lay hold on it and lift it out?
So he's saying, wouldn't you want to lift it out? Because he knew they would.
Right.
He knew they were going to help him. Right? Read on.
How much then is a man better than a sheep?
Uh-huh.
Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath day.
Because it's good, it's lawful for you to do good on the Sabbath day.
Right.
If you need to, if someone need to get healed, meaning that if they sick, they got shot, they got stabbed, your dog, you got sick, you want to take them to the vet, to the hospital, you want to try to stop the bleeding, that's well to do on the Sabbath day. You're not breaking the law. You're not buying or selling on that day. You're not cooking on that day. You're not working on that day. That's right there. You're helping someone out that's in need. That's in a need. That's an emergency situation. So he said, for that, it is what?
Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days.
And it is good to do on the Sabbath day. Because they were trying to stop him. Right? So now you understand that, right? So now, I want to ask you one question, right? So, do you feel like in today's time, what do you think need to be fixed in the black community?
Man, abundance of things. Man, you got especially the negative depiction of black women, black men.
Okay.
The way our children carry on.
Okay.
Clean the community up, man. Like,
Cleaning the community up, right? So now, give me that Psalms 94:16. Because now, Ro, right? Are you willing to do that change? Would you want to fix your community up? Because God right now have a question. Because you say you're ready to be a man, right? You're ready to show yourself a man, right? So George, Mr. George, right? So we was asking Ro here, right? To fix the black community, right? So are you ready to stand up for the black community? You ready to change it? So watch this. God have a question for you. Read.
Psalm chapter 94 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
Because God says, who's ready? Who's ready to show themselves a man and rise up against those who trying to keep us at the bottom of society?
Right.
Who's going to rise up against those that's killing in our community? Who's going to rise up and stop the drug dealing that's going in our community? Who's going to rise up for that? That's what God said. He had a question, and it's up for us to make that answer. Us right here, we decided to make that answer and say, you know what? We're tired of seeing our black on black crimes. We're tired of seeing single parent households. We're tired of seeing our people being incarcerated in prison. We're tired of seeing other nations ruling, seeing our people constantly being oppressed. We're tired of those negative imagery that we see on social media about the so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, both the men and the woman, right? So we say, you know what? We want to go up here to make that change. We want to make the change. So now he asks you that question. Read it again.
Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
So now, Ro and George, who are y'all ready to rise up to change the black community? Because this is how you're really going to show yourself a man.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's easily to just say, you know what, I want to do it, but a lot of people always say that.
They don't put it in action.
But the action doesn't work. And we're going to show you how we must change our community, right? Because the first thing he did was what? Destroy our mentality,
Right.
our mindset. So let's find out what we must do. Acts 3:19. Because we got to show you what we got to do to change. Because if we don't know what to do to change, we're not going to know where to start. Right? Watch this. Read.
Acts chapter 3 and verse 19.
Repent!
Ye therefore, and be converted.
So God says we first got to repent. Meaning we got to go back to what we was doing prior when we was in good terms with the Most High God. When right there. Meaning we was keeping God's laws at once. We was being man and marrying our woman, wasn't making court out of it. We was being man and not dressing effeminate, talking effeminate, dressing in woman clothing, and woman dressing in man attire, being all masculine. They had that feminine nature on them. We was like that. But he said we got to convert. We got to ask ourselves now, what is that is going to convert? Meaning what's going to change us? What's going to change us? Because like we asked before, who's supposed to teach us this? I said, I didn't know. But God is showing you right now who's supposed to teach you. Hold that, Jeremiah 3:15. Because I want to show that real quick. And then I'm going to go back to what's supposed to convert and change it. Because right now, as we said before, right? Who was that supposed to teach you? I'm going to show you. Watch the read.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine own heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
So God said he's going to give you pastors, right? Not the pastors in the Christian church. Not those type of pastors, but he's going to give you pastors according to his mindset. That's going to teach you that knowledge that we was what? Destroyed for. And give you the understanding of God's law. Understanding of your nationality. Of restoring what? Your heritage. So we got to show you now what is going to change us. That changed that mentality that they targeted in the first place when they put that yoke of iron upon our neck. And when they were beating us down for it. Watch this. Read. Psalms 19:7.
Psalms 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
So God's law is what's going to convert us. That is what's going to change us. So we have to now start applying what? We went over what? The Sabbath day, right? You got to apply that. And that's one way that's going to help fix our community. Because we don't buy on one day. How do you think it's going to affect the America today society, the economics? So now, do you think if we didn't buy on Christmas, we didn't buy Thanksgiving, we didn't buy none of those pagan holidays, right? We didn't buy on that one day. It's going to affect their what? The economics, right? And then now what's going to happen? They're going to want to hear our voice. And then they're going to start wanting to give us justice. Because now they're going to like, our economy going down because they're not buying on these days. So then they're going to start doing what? Honoring our God's law, because we're starting to be man up to take a stand against them. Right? So now, let me ask you a question. Can you grow your beard?
No.
You can't?
Never
What
had
about you?
40.
You grow a little bit? Will you be shaving it?
Yeah.
You shave it right there, Leviticus 21:5. Because we went over earlier, I told you that a beard is what? A badge of manly dignity, right there. And this is a law that God said, you want to stand up, you want to change the community, you first got to do what? Fix who? Fix yourself. Watch this, read.
Leviticus chapter 21 and verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head.
So God said you can't make baldness upon your head. Like you see Michael Jordan, Tyreek Gibson, Floyd Mayweather, all them, they put the razor and they shaving their heads. God said we're not supposed to do that. But if it fall off naturally, you're just losing your hair. It's lawful. It's good. You're not in the midst of sin. But if you're creating that baldness, it's just like on these commercials, why they always showing us shaving off? Right? But they always like to show the other nations, because when we do it, what happens? We get all these what? Razor bumps. Because it's not meant for us to shave our head, right? Read on.
Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard.
So we shouldn't shave off our beards either. Doesn't mean that you can't cut it. You can cut it and trim it down, but don't destroy your natural line. You're not supposed to destroy that. Because that right there is breaking God's law. And us being men, we got to now what? Apply that. Because that's how we're going to show ourselves a man. Right? So now, watch this. Numbers 15 and 38. Because, see, I took the head off. That's one sign of respect. But remember, every time we keep a law of God, we is uplifting a curse that God has put upon his people. So we want to stop the gang violence, the black on black crime, we must apply thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's going to help fix that in our community. Right? Watch this, read.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 38.
Speak
unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So God says, speak unto the children of Israel, and command them to make what? Fringes at the borders of their garments. Right? Read on.
Throughout their generations.
Because as long as we're generating, right, we got to be wearing what? Fringes. Right? Read on.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Okay, you see right here, the ribbon of blue? Now his blue is different than mine. His blue is different than mine. But as long as it's the color blue, good. Right? Read.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
Guys, it's going to be a reminder for you to remember God's law. He always gives us something to remember as a reminder so we don't forget to break his commandment. He gave us the Sabbath day. Remember that. That's every week. He gave you fringes. That's every day. You're supposed to be looked upon this. So if I want, you see a woman approach you, you want to go to the hotel and commit adultery? Nah, God's law said thou shalt not commit adultery. This dude pissed me off. I got road rage. He got me mad. I want to kill him. God's law, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in my heart. I got to love my neighbor. Right? That's what they're supposed to do. So I see you got a lighter, right? Do you smoke? Okay, you smoke, right? It's 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. Because that's another thing that is destroying in our community. Our people like to smoke, right? Watch this. Read.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
But God says we are the temple of God. Right? Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
Because the laws of God is supposed to dwell in you. Christ is supposed to dwell in us. Read.
Any man defile the temple of God.
So if you defile your temple of God, right? You defile your temple of God by smoking cigarettes, you are now killing yourself.
Right.
Because what did it say on the box? You got that warning.
Warning,
For cancer, right? But now, right, if you love him, you love us, right? So when you smoke around our people, you're also hating your neighbor, hating your brother. Why? Because you're also killing us with what? Secondhand smoking. So you love your neighbors, you love yourself. You're not going to want to smoke your cigarette because you're now defiling yourself. Christ can't dwell in you if you're smoking cigarettes. That's something that's detrimental to the black community. Read.
But we got to get out of here.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
Because if you want to continue smoking and cigarettes, Christ says you are now going to be destroyed. Destroyed for what? Because you wanted to break God's laws, statutes, and commandments.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models.